to you today about hanging out your laundry to save money. Now, the average family spends somewhere around $150 a year drying clothes. So obviously, any time that you can hang out your clothes, you're saving your family money. But that's not the only reason that hanging out your clothes is frugal. Hanging out your clothes is also a good way to help preserve the clothes. Have you ever really thought about where all that fluff in your dryer trap comes from? It comes out of your clothes. That's fabric fiber in there. So the more frequently that you dry your clothes, the faster you wear them out. Now, I didn't grow up hanging out my clothes. We didn't have a clothesline at the homestead back in Maine, and I never saw anyone hanging them out growing up. So when I decided to start doing this about 4 years ago, I really had a little bit of a learning curve. So I'm here today to share the tips and tricks with you so you don't have to learn the hard way like I did. Now, there isn't a lot of special equipment that you need to hang out laundry, but there are a few things. First, of course, is a clothesline of some sort. Now, you can do the pulley system like here. They have rotary dryers, or you can even just use a clothes drying rack, which does not usually have as large of capacity. You need clothespins. I prefer the wooden kind with a good spring on them, and you need something to hold them in. Now, for a long time, I used this plain lunch box, and I threw all my stuff in there. But it actually makes it easier if you can have something that hangs on the line. And I was able to purchase this little bag from the local dollar store. They sell them at most major box stores, and you can probably whip something up pretty quickly yourself if you know how to sew. Now, there are a couple of tips and tricks to hanging out the actual wash. The first thing is that although you might instinctively think that you should hang a shirt up this way, you don't. Clothes on the line should normally be hung upside down, because when you attach the clip to the clothing, it can pull and make a little pucker mark. And you don't want those puckers up on your shoulder. What's better, of course, is if you flip it around, you can hang it from the bottom, and if there's any kind of a pucker or a pinch, it's not going to be noticed at the hemline anywhere near as much. The other fact is that you don't need to stretch things out fully on the line. You really want to put them kind of close together so that the fabric will hang down and you'll have more usable space on your line. When you're drying pants or anything with pockets, again, you'll want to hang them upside down. But what you also want to do is either turn them out or turn the pockets inside out. If you think about it, the pockets are really a quadruple layer of fabric. There's both sides of the jeans and then both sides of the pocket. If you pull it out like this, it's going to dry much, much faster. So now, I'd like to show you how this looks. Wasn't hard at all, but I have a few more tips and tricks to tell you to make hanging out your wash just a little bit easier. The first thing was I forgot to mention line spacers. Now, you saw me using a white one of these when I was hanging out the wash. The purpose of a line spacer is to hold the two clotheslines, the top and the bottom part, closer together so that it doesn't sag in the middle. You don't need these at all if you're using a rotary dryer, and if you have a shorter clothesline, it's possible you might not need them either. But with my very long line pulley system, if I didn't have this, the laundry in the middle would be practically touching the driveway. Another point I wanted to mention was underwear. My backyard faces right into the backyard of a neighbor with no fence in between, and anything I hang on the line is clearly visible. And I don't know about you, but I'm not so into sharing my unmentionables with the rest of the world. So I've devised a system, which I'll show you in a moment, where I hang all of my socks and underwear on a small drying rack that's nicely concealed by my grill. Lastly, I wanted to mention one additional benefit of line drying. Because you're handling all of your clothes individually, you have more of an opportunity to notice any stains that need to be taken care of or any mending that needs to be done. And this results in your wardrobe as a whole being better taken care of. Here you can see the drying rack that I use to hang up our socks and skivvies. As you can see, it's hidden behind our grill so that the neighbors can't see. I like to hang up my socks in pairs because it makes them easier to take down later. No sorting. I usually just hang up the underwear by one corner. After all, it doesn't matter if there's a little pinch or a pucker in the side. Nobody is going to see them. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to hang out your wash, and that you try it sometime soon and see how much money you can save your family. For more money-saving ideas, log on to frugalupstate.blogspot.com. And remember, use what you have, get creative, and save.